Confidence is not about being the loudest in the room. It's about trusting yourself even when things feel uncertain. But how do you actually build that kind of confidence in yourself? Whether you're in high school, college, or this is like your third career. Listen, today we're breaking it down. So let's get into it together. Welcome to Transformation Station. I'm your host, Adrienne Benton. And in today's episode, we're exploring the power of confidence through the eyes of a phenomenal young woman who is living it right now. And whether you're navigating school, friendships, the boardroom, or retirement, listen, fear of the unknown sometimes has a way to creep in, but we're pushing it out today because we're going to dive into how confidence shapes our identity, builds resilience, and inspires growth. Well, today I am absolutely thrilled to share with you our amazing special guest. I'm going to bring her on in. Anna Callens, welcome to Transformation Station Best in Class. So excited that you're here today. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Anna Sophia, and I am a high school student currently. And my motto is to just show up and try because change starts with courage. I'm really passionate about empowering other people, about leadership, communication, and just if they need to change their life to step into the person they want to be.
I love that. And I love the fact that, as you were telling us about your mission, your motto, your mantra, you said show up and try. And, Anna, I think no matter what age you are in life, that show up and try is really important. And I want to ask you that show up and try. Why did you include that in who you are and what you do? Why is that important?
Why it is so important to me is because I have many friends who hold the same values as me, and in many ways we're very alike. But in one way that I am different from some of my friends is that I will go out and practice what I preach. Like, if I have a goal, I will go out, I will connect with other people, and I will see how I can reach that goal. Whereas other people tend to stay at home and just keep it in their mind, but you need to really just show up and put yourself out there for things to happen.
I love it. I love it. This is phenomenal. So, okay, you're in high school, right? And to those leaders who are listening and watching right now, I want to invite you to share this episode with your teenager, right? If they're next to you, bring them in the room and let them watch and listen. If not, then you need to send them the link, right? Because Anna, I'm going to ask you this question. High school, it's full of changes, right? We deal with new classes, we deal with friendships, we deal with future plans. What's the biggest change you've seen so far, and how do you handle change?
The biggest change that I have seen so far is having to step up my involvement.
Mm,
A lot of people talk about the struggle with college admissions and having to be really involved in your community. And I've had a lot of times struggling because a lot of adults will think you're too young to start internships, to start jobs, but college
mhm,
applications want you to do it all when you're young. So
mhm.
it's a really hard balance. And that's why I created a club in my high school called Community Leadership Club, because I really wanted to help other people find what they can do with how old they
Mm.
are.
I love that. I love that. Talk to us about this club that you created in terms of what was it that really drove you to be able to have the courage and the confidence to be able to step out and say, you know what, I see a need. Let's start this club.
So, what actually drove me is going to Germany and presenting at the AWAG conference, Americans Working Around the Globe, because I was talking in front of a bunch of adults and I was just really inspired by how many people really do want to show up and see how they can change their lives. And so I wanted to apply that to my high school and reach out to overachieving students like myself and even regular students who just want to like make more of an impact, I wanted them to have the resources to where they can come to students who are sharing the same struggles.
Mm. What was that process like for you, right? When we talk about confidence, talk to us a little bit about like where did you have to be confident in doing that? It's not like you said, okay, I'm going to start the club, snap my fingers and the club is started, right? Like where did you find yourself having to be confident?
So on the first meeting, it was really funny because I'm naturally a pretty good public speaker because I've worked myself up to be pretty confident in myself. But
Mm-hmm.
on my first club meeting, I totally forgot one of the slides. I was so nervous, and one of my friends came up to me and he said, "Anna, I've never seen you that nervous before." And I was like, "I don't know what happened to me." And I realized that it's so much easier to talk to people and be yourself in front of people who don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
When it's people that know you, it's hard to be yourself, and I think that's the biggest challenge with social media right now. Like, if I want to put my club out onto social media, it's
Mm-hmm.
scary knowing that people from your school are going to see your posts. They're going to see what you're doing.
Yeah, you can't hide. It's public and it's recorded, right? So it has a life of its own, like forever and ever and ever. You can delete it off of your say your social media page, but it's still out there, right? So I
Exactly.
agree with you. So let me ask you this question. Do you think social media makes it harder or easier for young people to feel confident? And why or why not?
I think it goes both ways. A lot of people find community in social media. They find people who are similar to themselves that they may not have in their own local community. However, I find it harder just because I think that social media is sometimes really cruel to those who are just trying to put themselves out there. And I think if you don't automatically go viral, a lot of people
Mhm.
can feel really small. They can make themselves
Mhm.
small because
Mm.
of their follower account, because of the views they're not getting. And I think
Mhm.
it's just really hard on students who want to make a change, but they're not getting the people that they're trying to attract.
I agree with you 1000%. And Anna, I would say that this is not even just a teenage or a young person. It's a human issue, right? I know for me, I have this podcast, I have other platforms, and sometimes I find myself looking and saying, there's only one person that liked it. It's been up for like 5 hours. I don't understand what's going on. Like, what does that mean? And all of a sudden, you find yourself starting to question your identity, like who you are based off of something, waiting for other people's approval. And it's like sometimes I have to pull myself back and say, no, that's not your identity. That's just something that you did. And just because people did not like, love, subscribe, share, follow, that like, so what? Like that's their prerogative. You didn't do it for the growth in terms of having to see 5 million people liking. No, you did it so that you could have depth and you could just reach one. What do you think about that?
I think it's already hard enough in high school to feel like people like you, people want to fit in, and they want to be part of the bigger crowd. But social media amplifies that problem sometimes because
Mhm.
people at your school will have more followers than you. They will have a somewhat better social media presence than you if they're more confident or if they have more followers. But I think sometimes it can really just emphasize that problem, and it's something that a lot of people struggle with.
Absolutely. So to those who are listening right now, Anna and I are talking about a universal challenge. And if this is one of your challenges, I invite you to take a moment right here and just stop and reflect and ask yourself, how is this challenge when it comes to social media? How is it impacting you? How is it impacting how you lead, how you interact with others? How is it impacting your own self esteem, how you see yourself? If you have a teenager in your home, if you have a young adult in your home, and you find that they are challenged right here when it comes to social media and feeling confident, then this is a great time to just stop and ask them some questions. How are you? That's the first question. How is social media, your usage of it, your productivity, how is that impacting you? And really stop and listen with no judgment. Don't answer back and tell them, well, you should just stop and listen. Right. So Anna, here's another question I want to ask you. Right. Many teens, they seem to feel pressure to have it all figured out. How do you personally deal with the uncertainty of what comes next?
It's something that I definitely struggle with. I feel like I have to have so much done in order to feel accomplished. But something that really helps me is kind of reflecting back on what I already have accomplished.
Mm.
And so sometimes I'll be like, I need to make a bigger impact in my community. I need to join this. I need to get this internship. I need to just reach out more. But then I look back and I'm like, well, I've already had a summer job. I've already spoken at a conference in front of people that way outrank me in
Mhm,
status. And
mhm.
I just have to really look back and be like, I've already achieved a bunch of things. So it's not what you need to achieve, it's what more can you do?
Say that again. Say that again, please. That last line. It's
It's
not
not
what.
it's not what you need to achieve, it's what more can you achieve.
Talk to us about that. Just go in a little bit deeper on that right there. That's golden.
So something I struggle with is feeling like I need to have things done by a certain timeline. Like by the end of this year, I need to have these things lined up in order to be ready for college. But what I really need to look at is what can I do to do these things? So instead of saying I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, I have to think, what can I do to talk to more people, to reach out to people, and just find those small steps in order to achieve a really big goal. But, yeah. And I think that a lot of times people think that they have to rush and have everything lined up. But I personally feel like if you just slow down and take it 1 week at a time,
Mm.
line up a lot better.
I love it. So a practical principle that Anna just shared with us is slow down. Slow down, right? Take your time. Allow things to align up and you'll have more productivity. Did I say that correctly, Anna?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, this is great. Because here in Best in Class series, Anna, we always like to have some practical tips and recommendations that we can share with our listeners and our viewers. So that's a really great one, right? It's not what you need to achieve, it's what can you achieve more, right? Anna talked about like who can you talk to, right? Who can you write this week? How can you have an active service for someone this week, right? What need can you help to fulfill for yourself? How can you grow yourself personally? But we're talking about confidence today. So, Anna, I want to ask you this question. What's a change you chose for yourself, big or small, that made you feel more confident or made you feel more true to who you really are?
So, one change I would say is definitely the motto I said at the beginning is just showing up and trying, because I saw myself kind of belittling myself at times, saying, like, oh, I shouldn't be part of this because I'm too young, or oh, I shouldn't go here because I'm too shy. But what I realized is that confidence isn't like you're not born with confidence, you can build up to be confident. And so once I built up my confidence, I think what really helped me was focusing more on public speaking and just working up tiny moments to where I can just show up and put myself in front of an audience.
Mhm.
And I think that really helped me be prepared to network with people, to engage with people, because I'm just putting myself out there. And there were many times where I was like, no, I do not want to talk in front of these people.
Mhm.
Once was an instance when I had to talk in front of the district members of my local community. It's really scary because they hold so much power in the community, but I had to remember that I hold power too.
Mm, I love that. So, talk to us for a moment about the power of belief. I think that goes hand in hand with the power of confidence, right? What is it that you had to believe to be true in order for you to go to that district meeting and have the talk, or to believe that you could even stand up and open your mouth and say anything?
What I always have to tell myself is that even though I might not be the most interesting person in the room, I still have something to say, and there will be at least one person who will listen to whatever I need to put out into the world. And that has really helped me, knowing that I might not make an impact on the entire room, but there might be one person that comes up to you afterwards and they're like, I really loved what you said and I really resonated with that.
So talk to us also about when that moment happens, right? When you might have been feeling a little nervous, but you still went ahead and powered through and you did it anyway, like going to AWAC, right? But how do you, what does that do for you when you see yourself be confident, push through the fear, and then someone comes and says, man, that was really awesome. Like that really, I heard you, that impacted me. What does that do for you?
It makes me feel, honestly, it's better than accomplishment because it just makes me feel like I've helped someone, whether whether it may not be directly helping them, I'm still helping their mindset. I'm still like helping their values, and it really makes me feel almost whole as a person if I'm helping other people. And
Mm.
it's really good hearing recognition from other people just to continue what you're doing, because a
Mhm.
lot of people will say, "Oh, you're so young and you've already like achieved so much." And it empowers me to do more when I hear other people saying that they resonate with what I do and they're wanting me to continue.
I love that. I love that. As you've been talking, I'm thinking of these words: move out of your comfort zone and believe you can. Be confident. Those who are listening right now, Anna is saying, move out of your comfort zone. Like, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's how we grow, right? And believe that you can. You had conversations with yourself. Anna had conversations with Anna. You had to have in order to get those clothes on and fix your notes and all right, let's go. And you walk in the room and you see the people and we're gonna go and to believe that you have something that's worth being said to the teenager that's listening, to the young adult that's watching, to the parent that's listening, to the CEO that's watching. What Anna is sharing with us is she's taking us back to school, textbook 101. And we say that to say we've got to stick with the basics as you lead, as you walk forward in life. Anna talked to us about, hey, I don't have all the answers. There are some times where I'm uncertain, but I believe that I can. I believe that I have something that this world needs. And so, again, to that teenager listening, move out of your comfort zone. Believe that you can. Being confident, it's not a one-time act, Anna. I believe that being confident, it's a state of being, right? That we every morning when we open our eyes, we've got to start that day. How do you start your day, Anna?
I usually start my day by I actually am more of a mellow person in the morning. If you catch
Mhm.
me in the morning, I might not be super chipper, but
Mhm.
if someone comes up to me and starts talking to me in the morning, I definitely will be peppy. I think by myself, I'm a bit more of a mellow person, but once other people start talking to me, I get really excited because I just love when people come up to me. I love when people talk to me, when people feel like I'm someone they can confide in about maybe a problem they're having in the morning. And it makes me feel really good about myself so early on in the day.
That's fantastic. I love that. And I like to start my day off with the attitude of gratitude. They say scientifically that what you focus on in the first 20 minutes of your day sets the tone for how you're going to, what perspective you're going to have through the rest of the day. So if you start the day off saying, oh my goodness, it's raining outside, this day is going to be absolutely horrible, I'm going to get wet. As you go through the whole day, like the best thing in the world could happen, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's nice. And then you just move on. Like you don't really capture it because your mind has already started off with the foundation of negativity. But if you start off the day, even with challenges, even with chaos and confusion that may be quote unquote waiting for you, but if you start the day and say, I'm alive one more day. There's one more day of opportunity in front of me. There's one more day to put into practice walking confidently even while I'm uncertain. That is helping you to start off and to lay a whole different filter as your foundation. One of the other things that I like to do, Anna, is YouTube has like all kind of videos and things. So I love to go onto YouTube and as I'm getting dressed for work, listen to like motivational speaking. You can do it. That's right. Your problems don't have power over you. You have power over. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. And by the time I get in my car and I go, I'm like, okay, let's go. Things may still come at me, but my mind is starting off at a different place.
I agree, and I definitely need to put that into practice.
Yes, it really does help us in the day to day. And do you think confidence is something that people are born with, or is confidence something that you can build over time?
I kind of said this earlier that I don't think you're born with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do think people are naturally more extroverted than others. I
Mm-hmm.
meet a lot of friends who are just really okay with talking to a big group of people that they've never met before, and I'm like, oh no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's definitely something you can build because when I was in middle school, I was really one of the shyest people. I would not talk to you unless you talked to me. But
Mm-hmm.
I think what really helped me was public speaking. I would find little moments like introducing songs at a concert that I was playing at, or
Mm-hmm.
my first real big public speaking moment was going to Germany for the first time and speaking
Mm-hmm.
at that conference for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me, I would say it made me more mature in the fact that I knew that I could get up and talk to people,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you can talk to adults. Talking to people your own age seems a little bit easier because you're like, oh, I already impressed the hardest crowd. Um, and so when I got to high school, I definitely saw that I had to continue speaking in front of others to really push myself to do it. And so in that way, I do think that you build up to confidence because if you had met me in middle school, I was not confident at all. And then right now, I agreed to go on a podcast and kind of put myself out there because
Yeah.
I want to gain that confidence to have my name and my face out in the world.
Yes, absolutely. And we're so glad that you chose to be confident to come and join us here on Transformation Station. Okay, so as we turn the corner on this conversation on confidence, right? Right now, there's a young person that's listening, there's a leader that's listening. What advice would you give to someone, anyone? But I'm going to ask you actually, in particular, to the high schooler, to the teenager, to that young person that's still trying to figure life out. What advice would you give to them about the practicality of, for real, no kidding, being confident every day?
This may be a bit cliche, but I do think that fake it till you make it is the perfect motto because that's what I've had to do a lot of times when I've been nervous. I just had to pretend that I wasn't nervous and that I was a really important person in the room and just faking that mindset that like I'm already good. I'm already going into this with a good mindset rather than already walking in nervous. I tend to pretend that I'm not nervous. And it
Hmm.
makes me feel more confident because then afterwards I can be like, "Oh, I was so scared. I was blah blah," blah, but I still was able to do it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And to those who are listening right now, Anna has shared so many valuable gems with us. Like, this definitely is an episode that you need to go back and listen to again. But Anna, I heard you, say several things today about building confidence. Anna reminded us to show up and try. Woo! That is like half of the key right there, right? You also talked to us about believing that you can, right? And asking the question, it's not just about the basics of, can I do this? What more can I do, right? And as far as being able to step up, step out, try. Anna, there's a saying that says, try and try again, right? There's nothing that beats a failure but a try. I learned that when I was in high school. Nothing beats a failure but a try. If you don't try, you'll never know. And here we have a real life example through Anna, who found her courage, chose to be courageous, and came here to join us on Transformation Station Leadership Podcast. Thank you so much. It's been a joy and a delight. Now, Anna, if there are those who would like to reach out to you, right? We always encourage our leaders to go find our podcast guests and let them know that they heard the episode, right? And share what was meaningful to them. If there's someone who wanted to reach out to you, how can they do that?
I'm definitely on LinkedIn. If you search up Anna Sophia Callens on LinkedIn, I'm the young person on there. um, and I think that's the best way to reach me right now. I definitely do want to make more social media platforms for my community leadership club. And then once I have that, I'll be able to reach out to people amongst Instagram and TikTok. But for now, I would keep it to LinkedIn.
Absolutely. So there you have it, to our community best in class series community. We want to support Anna. So I invite you, one, share this episode with someone else, and two, reach out to her on LinkedIn. You see the link there. It'll also be in the description box. So reach out to her, let her know that you heard it, but also share this and let the young person, young adult, teenager in your life hear this, so we can continue to grow a confident leadership community. Anna, again, wonderful. It's been a joy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, well, there you have it, and another amazing episode. Thank you for listening to Transformation Station Best in Class series. Remember, confidence isn't something that just happens to us, it's something that we can shape, embrace, and learn from. Show up and try. Believe in yourself. Be confident each and every day. If today's episode resonated with you, again, there's the reminder to share it with someone who might need some encouragement today, and subscribe to Transformation Station on whatever platform you watch or listen to us on, so that you never miss another inspirational story. Until next time, keep leaning into change and keep leaning into confidence. Discover your own personal confident power.